Hi, internet.
Stop, everybody. We're back for more Moida.
Murder.
Murder. He's a good murder. Moida. And you probably heard me from the other day. Moida.
Moida.
Moida. So, hi guys. We're back with some more Higurashi. The game that we will never get to finish, apparently.
It's so long.
We were just lamenting before starting how there's like 8 chapters of this now. With the last one coming out in what'd you say, 2020?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. What up, guys? Hi, Cramzin. How's it going, dudes?
Hello.
I don't know, dude. How's it with you, man? How's it hanging?
Ooh.
Ooh, dude. No, like, I keep saying this every week, but I feel like we should be nearing the end. I think we're close to ending this chapter. And then you said, watch, we're done in like 2 minutes. Tonight. Harold Ganyu and Genshin Impact's a pretty good day. Nice.
Yep.
I have not hopped on the Genshin Impact train, and I'm terrified to do so.
I have not either, and probably won't. I don't really feel like I have the time for a game like that.
Same, bro.
Like I already have a couple open world games that I barely touch because of the raw time commitment of it all.
Yeah, same. Like my amount of time I have in the day is very limited. To work, more work, and podcast. Work, podcast, streaming sometimes. Still need to figure that shit out, but we're waiting on something with Andrew before we start planning our grand return.
Yes, I'm also not particularly interested in Honkai Star Rail, but I do know that apparently there's some hot doctor lady named Tasha, which always throws me for a loop when the one ad with her in it plays on YouTube.
You just hear the name Tasha, you're like, yes,
It's like,
dear.
My ears,
Yes, dear.
my ears perk up like I'm a dog. Natasha?
Yes, dear. Yes, honey.
Oh, that's not my girlfriend. It's a different attractive lady. This isn't useful at all.
Like this isn't my girlfriend that I love dearly. God damn. Natasha is voiced by Elizabeth Maxwell. Oh boy.
There you go. Which she would
So
probably,
anyway.
which she would probably be able to recognize because in a grand fit of cosmic irony, I am complete garbage at recognizing actors' voices, and she's great at it.
That's funny.
It's hilarious. She's even good at it with Japanese voice actors, which I'm extra bad at. Unless it's like I can remember what the hell's his name, Naruki. The guy who plays Chio's dad with the big deep voice. I can recognize him pretty consistently, and that's just because he's got the deepest voice on the island.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking for me they have to be kind of
Yes, that one,
Norio
Andrew.
Wakamoto.
Yeah, him.
It has to be someone fucking distinctive for me as for Seiyu. Like fucking Aoi Shota or Natsuki Haine or something. Where it's that distinct enough. Or fucking Mamoru Miyano, for God's sake.
I think
Where
Mamoru is probably the other one, but it occurs to me that I'm trying to think of what does he sound like, and I don't actually remember right now. This is the problem.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. Are you feeling Dazai today or something else?
It doesn't help. The most Mamoru Miyato role I know of is his character in Zombieland Saga, and I watched all that in the dub, so I don't actually know what he sounds like in that.
No, I don't know what he sounds like either, but I remember Bungo Stray Dogs because it took several months to maybe a year for the first season because I think the dub started around the time when season 2 was a thing. So I watched the first season in Japanese, and sweet lord.
That's what they tell me.
Fun fact, Robbie Damon has now been more Mamoru Miyano VO matches than that other guy. That's funny.
That is funny.
That's amazing. I love that. Oh. Moida! Boys and girls.
Are we
Moida.
Are we ready for Moida?
We're ready for Moida.
I always find it very funny that there are so many save slots on this. Like, It's a visual novel. There aren't even branching paths.
No,
Why?
there's not. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I don't
Like
know. Maybe,
we're just reading. We haven't had like anything that really
I
you
don't.
choose your own shit.
I mean, as far as I
But
know, there aren't any. Like these aren't those kinds. Like this isn't that kind of visual novel. It is a visual novel.
yeah,
Like
that's interesting.
there's no. I don't know. Maybe it's so you. Maybe like I must. I don't. Yeah. Maybe you could like load your saves from the previous chapter in the new one or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Insomnium Files definitely benefits from save scumming. Oh yeah, it does. Oh yeah, it fucking does. But anyway, so
You ready?
when we were playing last week, I believe where we left off was we got a visit from Rena.
Yep. And
Which meant Steph got to go yandere.
Yeah, we slammed her fingers in the door.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yep.
That was fucking great. But I think we're near the
Question mark. I do.
question mark. I keep saying that every fucking week, and yet here we are because it likes to drag on.
This is the problem. Where I don't know about you, but for me, I've seen Higurashi recently enough that I remember the general shape of each arc, but not really like what actually happens. So I don't have a very good sense of like I remember vaguely how the first arc goes, but I don't have a good enough sense of like the actual contour of it to know where we are in it compared to here. Like we're late in it. I know that much, but I can't remember like. In
anime terms, I think it's the next day where it's the end.
That's the thing. I can't remember if it's like the next day or there's a couple days or it's even later this night. Like I honestly don't remember.
I believe in anime terms, it's the next day from where we are now. But whether that equates to the visual novel, no idea.
All right,
because they might throw in more shenanigans. But at this stage in the game, considering Keiichi doesn't want anything to do with the school club now, I don't think it's going to go shenanigans. It's going to just keep going hard from here.
I feel like in terms of the actual plot, the anime is a fairly close adaptation of what we've been seeing, so I'm not expecting too much divergence.
Yeah, the visual novel is pretty padded out, all things considered.
It wants to lull you into a false sense of security before the bad stuff happens.
Absolutely, but we're in the thick of it now, boys and girls.
Oh, yeah. All right, you ready?
Let's fucking go.
All right, let's see if we can get to the end before my voice gives out.
And before you go away for the next week.
Yeah, oh, by the way, we're not streaming next week because I'm going on vacation.
He's on vacation. So, he's going on a trip.
Yeah, so see you in June after this, I guess. All right. You're aware that you're aware that this won't be very interesting, right? Oh no, I do a raspier thing with Oishi, don't I? Yeah, because we were
asking about Rena, I think, more details now.
Keiichi wants to know all the dirt Oishi dug up.
Yeah. You slut going on vacation, enjoying time with your partner outside of entertaining the masses. How dare he? How fucking dare he, chat? Boo this man.
Your boos make me stronger.
That's why I said it. I will throw encouragement in the form of boos.
Alright.
Anyway.
Oishi-san, realizing my resolve couldn't be swayed, finally caved. Right now, to me, there is nothing that I'll find uninteresting. Please. There are a few things I need you to agree to. Okay. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? It might not be true? I don't understand what you mean. There isn't one main investigation for the mysterious chain of deaths in Hinamazawa. Each one is treated as its own individual case. Thus, Ren and Ryuga has never been linked to any of the investigations. Basically, you see, this is an investigation of Reina done by the police, and is a personal inquiry, is what you're telling me? This will make things a lot quicker since you understand. All of it is from either phone calls or meetings and interviews, so they aren't corroborated. I'm asking you to take this all with a grain of salt, is what I mean. Do we have an agreement? All of this is just from what you heard? Yes, my apologies. It's all my personal investigation, you see. That thing. Before, you said you saw Reina's chart, didn't you? I'm sure I heard you say that. Oishi-san paused for a moment on the other end of the line. I told you that too. Please pretend you didn't hear anything about that. I didn't care about Oishi-san having certain obligations and responsibilities. I also didn't care if there was no proof. Even if there was just rumors, there's no smoke without fire, after all. Please tell me, Oishi-san. Understood. Oishi-san finally opened those tight lips of his.
Oh boy.
It seemed that Rena lived in Hinamizawa a long time ago. She had moved to Abaraki Prefecture just before starting elementary school. Then, following that, right after transferring, the unfortunate incident with the breaking of the school windows happened. Then Rena confided to the doctor that it was Oyashiro-sama. This was everything I knew. There isn't much difference between what I know and what you know, Maebara-san. And then what part did you investigate further? I didn't need to ask. It was the incident right before she transferred back to Hinamizawa. The incident Reina was responsible for, and what she divulged to the doctor afterwards, correct? Yes. After you learned about that, you started suspecting Reina and the others, didn't you? Yes, I have suspicions. I suspect them. So they're the ones, after all? No, that's not what I meant by suspect them. Huh? Oishi-san was the type of person to say things with confidence, but these particular words were less than reassuring. Then who did you suspect? That it was Oyashiro-sama. Huh? That Oyashiro-sama's curse really exists. Yeah, right, well. Oyashiro-san's laugh was quite dry, certainly not the kind that would make you want to join in. Oishi-san resumed the conversation. You say
Nothing.
something? Oh, okay.
No. There's just a fucking car or motorcycle driving outside.
There we go. About the dubious circumstances behind Satoshi's disappearance. The course of events leading him to delve into Reina's past. Just then, there was thunder in the distance and a heavy rain started pouring down. It came without warning, a downpour fiercely beating the ground. I had left the window in my room open a crack to let the heat out. The violent wind danced into my room, making the curtains flap wildly. What is it?
So we have mood environment now.
Absolutely. Nothing. It suddenly started raining heavily. Sorry, please continue. I got up while still on the phone and grasped the window. I said at the beginning it was an incident, but because neither the school nor the victims filed charges, the police were never involved. So you see, those involved were very reluctant to talk, regardless of there being a victim who had one eye beaten so badly that it had permanent damage. It could have been the school or possibly some individual who made arrangements to keep this from going public. Also, the psychologist was very strict about their professional ethics. Hello? Maebara-san? Can you hear me? There was the figure of a person standing by the light near the mailbox this whole time.
I know this one.
Even in this torrential rain, they didn't have an umbrella. They were unquestionably drenched from head to toe. In this shower, which more resembled a waterfall, droplets of water dripped down from her hair. Just standing there, both arms dangling at her side. In one hand was a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. Her eyes, focused on my room, focused on me as I was about to close the window. Her mouth was methodically repeating a chewing motion. It was as if she had something hard to chew in her mouth, with her cheeks puffing out. What could she be eating over there? How could it be at this time? I was more enthralled by Reina instead of the shocking developments being brought to light by Oishi-san. If it hadn't started raining, I wouldn't have gone to the window. Then I wouldn't have noticed Reina, nor would I have noticed that. Reina's mouth was moving in the same pattern. She wasn't eating something. She was repeating something. What was it? Was she repeating to me? What was she saying? And why was I right up against the window, fixated on her? Hello? Maebara-san? Can you hear me? Hello? I'm sorry. Huh? Maebara-san? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Hello? Maebara-san? What's the matter? Even in this torrential downpour, Reina was still apologizing. The other self inside me drew the curtain hastily with my right hand, blocking my view of the outside. But even doing that, Reina's relentless apology still reached my ears. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I forgive you for this, will you forgive me for that? Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. I'm sorry. 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 Damn it. Why should I have to forgive her? I'm the one who wants to be forgiven. What part of me can't you forgive? I won't be killed. If you won't forgive me, then I won't forgive you either. I won't forgive. 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 I won't forgive. Nobara-san? If you can hear me, then please respond. Hello?
I forgot about that part. Or she's just in the rain just saying I'm sorry over and over again.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Is that the actual end of the chapter?
Yeah, there we go.
The actual end of the chapter.
Oh, if we just got for another 5 minutes last week. Oh well.
Gosh. That happened last time too.
Yeesh. They keep getting longer and longer.
I know, right? Impatient fools.
Yeah, that's us.
Listen, I have work in the morning.
And
Fuck you, bro.
I was tired and thirsty.
Listen, it's tired. Split personality. Oh boy.
Personality.
Oh, I see it in the movies quite often, but what is it exactly? Female reporter.
Multiple personalities are thought to be escapism.
Multiple personality disorder is a form of escape?
Correct. The exact mechanism is not fully understood, but it's believed to be a type of defense for the brain to retain mental stability.
Hypothetically, poor people imagining themselves as wealthy is a form of escapism, is it not? Is this also a form of multiple personality disorder?
I wouldn't go that far, but broadly speaking, one could infer that. It's something that occurs in us all.
Does a split personality occur when one cannot tell which is reality and which is the escape?
That's difficult to say. There are some who agree with that, and some who disagree. There is no consensus.
Then, is the occurrence of multiple personalities still an unknown phenomenon? Something not fully comprehended in the psychiatric field?
Unfortunately, that is the current state of things. We can only put our hope in future research.
But, it's sorta cool having a split personality. What kind of people get split personalities? Crazy people.
Recent studies
Clearly.
recent studies find that those who develop it, or rather those who are more susceptible to developing it, may be genetically predisposed or may have had abnormal mental development. Some say that childhood abuse increases its chances.
Speaking of which, Person A here experienced abuse as a child, didn't he? How sad. Person A has 7 different personalities. Let's watch a video of him. Right after these commercials.
Nah.
Suckers!
I feel like our writer here might have some opinions about Japanese morning shows. At the 7th Mart.
Ooh, what we got?
Let's find out. Look at all that cup ramen.
Haha, so many kinds.
The 7th Mart was a bargain supermarket with food and alcohol.
What's this, Keiji? So many. There's no reason to get all the different kinds, is there?
Oh, we're watching the purchasing of the famous instant ramen.
Yep.
I flopped all the different colored cup noodle bowls into the cart. Cup noodle has gotten so elaborate recently, and there are a bunch of different types. I want to try each of them at least once. I knew it was pretty selfish of me, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. Keiichi. Buy them in the big case. It's cheaper. Dad faltered. Well, I had a feeling it'd end up like this. Now that Dad had thrown his hat into the ring, I'd have to compromise. Then I'll only get to eat one kind. I get bored with it. I was resisting any formality. I had already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get.
If you can't pick, then Mommy will pick for you. You get plain shit. Basic ass noodles.
You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the case of noodles for what I want.
Pork bone and ginger, large cup. Hey, Keiichi, can't you get a more normal one?
If I let Mom pick, she'll err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt flavored. So when I plonked a large box of pork bone flavor into the shopping cart, Mom looked at me with an expression as if to say, "These ones?" To show her this was my last compromise, I began explaining the choice. Pork bone is good. You get a large serving, but the flavor isn't too strong. I remembered insisting that the noodles I picked were the right kind.
Oh,
Oh boy.
oh.
In this frozen memory in time, this encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings.
Oh, man.
So I did what I could and reached out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find the presence I overlooked. No matter how much I searched through my field of vision, I couldn't see Rena. I rewound the situation, searching. But of course, I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying on me from my blind spot?
Was she looking through the fucking shelves?
I go through the sound and presences again, looking. I could sense the other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. There was nobody looking over this way, and no one was trying to get behind me. Not here. Couldn't be here. Probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if someone was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using a vague word like probably right before contradicting it with definitely. Then I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There was definitely a presence like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. If a presence really had manifested behind me, I would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on, and there was no way for me to turn around. Whilst carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles. Running through the instant noodles section, bad-mouthing my mom. But there was that presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was. Realizing it now after the fact was horrifying and repulsive. In that moment of time, I was running around gleefully, carrying that cardboard box, tip-tap. But listening to that movement again, I could hear footsteps other than mine going pit-pat with every step. Tip-tap, 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 pip-pat, pip-pat, pip-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap, pip-pat, pip-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap, pip-pat, pip-pat. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pip-pat were right behind me. Me running around gleefully, and that closed-off moment in time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. I didn't think I had heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. That's why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I had ran at that time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. Then I returned to my parents and started talking. The shadow-like presence was right at my back. Since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That is why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. A pit-pat that shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At that time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. Someone turn on the light. Except my body couldn't move. As if I were sewn into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. Now that's just breaking the rules. I haven't moved. So you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move. So you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the rules. Pit-pat. Yes, that sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck pricked up on end. It was so close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move? Like how the presence was moving behind me. I quickly realized I could move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. It was something unforgivable in this moment in time. But I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being were trying to force me to stop, it began to administer a pain like a needle being stuck into my every pore. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. I'll turn around. I'll turn around. I'm not scared at all. A scream I was unable to vocalize. Roar. I turned around. At first, I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What? What? What is that? Is this? Just as a person's mouth might bite into an apple, slurp the juices, and finally discover that it was an apple, my mind began to process the scene before my eyes by eating the apple. Munch, munch, chew, chew, slurp the juices, and discover the apple. Meaning, what was in front of me was...
Is that a nightmare he just had?
Sure.
Seems like it might have been.
A nightmare, a memory, a something.
Having a normal one, Katie. Oh yeah.
He's having as normal a one as he ever has.
Oh god. All right.
All right, once more into the breach, dear friend.
Into the unknown we go.
I guess I'd be lying if I said I didn't get any sleep. I tried to stay awake all night, but there were definitely gaps in my memory. I guess I kept nodding off and jerking awake in a panic all night. I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Oh, excuse me.
Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, Katie.
Synchronicity.
It's morning.
I spent all night hugging the metal bat and sat on top of the futon I used to barricade my door. Waiting, watching just in case someone tried to break in through my window. If I left this spot, someone would break through the door, sending the futon flying, and attack me. But if I stopped watching the window, someone would break through the glass and attack me. I tried telling myself I was just being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. The thought of being so vulnerable scared the living daylights out of me. If sleep meant taking that risk, I didn't need it. It was so much better to just stay awake. At some point during the endless cycle of nodding off and jolting awake, light began to shine outside, but that was it. It wasn't so much the morning as it was just the sun simply having risen. I snuck a peek out through the curtains. Rena was gone. I couldn't see her anywhere no matter how hard I looked. Finally, I could breathe a deep sigh of relief. The night was finally over. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but I didn't feel like sleeping at the moment. I still had time. But I needed to make my own breakfast, so I better get started soon. Skipping school was also an option. With my mom gone, it'd be easy to play hooky. Honestly, I debated it. The risk involved in leaving my house was incalculable. So staying holed up in here was probably my safest option. But staying here wouldn't solve anything. Oishi-san wouldn't help me without cold, hard evidence. Neither he nor my parents. So, unless I found some sort of proof, these relentless nights would never end. I stretched my body, tilted my head back, and closed my eyes just like I did every morning. I regulated my breathing and regained my senses. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. Let's go to school. Let's wait until they set their trap for me. But that didn't mean I was just going to twiddle my thumbs. I needed to avoid that trap and secure irrefutable evidence. Take note of the plates of any car that drives by. If I see someone suspicious, check their clothes and face. I wasn't just protecting myself. I was preparing myself to turn their attack against them and retaliate. The tension was similar to when two samurai were both aiming to slay each other with a single motion as they drew their katanas. I was not at a disadvantage. I would have a chance to retaliate. I finally felt a bit of courage growing in my chest. All right, let's go to school. I tightened my grip on Satoshi's bat. He was the only partner I could count on. Satoshi, please lend me your strength and entrust your dying regrets to me, since you were probably murdered. I'll make sure I dispel them. A little bit of levity in this serious moment, you know?
I like how he has to add that after that after note right there. Because, you know, you probably are dead.
You were probably murdered. Who says these games aren't funny? With renewed resolve, I checked the clock. It was still early. Of course, I was going to school by myself today. If I didn't want to run into Reina or Mion, I needed to leave now. The shattered fragments of the cupboard were still strewn all over the doorway. Right. I meant to clean up last night. I cleaned that up last night. We never got around to it with the phone call and everything. If my parents came back and saw this while I was at school, I would never hear the end of it. Still, I'd be wasting time if I cleaned it up right now. And considering what would happen if I ran into Rena or Mion, it wouldn't be too late to clean it up after I got back home. Making extra certain that the doors were locked, I left the house. My uniform was still covered in mud from yesterday, so I left it in the washer. Today I was going to go to school in a tracksuit. By wearing a different outfit this morning, my mind was forced to accept that today was different from yesterday. I had a hunch. Today might be the day I get killed. Keep your guard up, Keiichi Maebara. The only one who gets to decide if today is my last is me.
Nice leisurely stroll to school.
Something like that.
Oh, here we go again.
I spent the morning practicing my swing like it was my natural routine. After a while, Rena arrived at school. Our eyes met, but we said nothing. Rena said nothing about last night, as if it never happened. But I could see that those events were real by the wounds carved into her fingers. I just heard her telling Sotoko and the others that the bandages were from hurting herself in the kitchen. Though it wasn't like it bothered me. The details that Oishi-san shared about Reina's incident before her transfer played vividly in my mind. Now that I knew about it, I couldn't even dream of Rena as a cute, ideal girl.
Kei-chan, I see you're still aiming for the nationals.
It was Mion. I had already sensed her approach, so I wasn't that surprised. Oh, Mion. If you understand, then leave me alone. I'm busy practicing. I gave her a curt reply without my usual jokes. Then I gave the bat an even larger swing, tactically keeping Mion from getting any closer.
Hey, Kei-chan, take it easy.
I think Mion got the message, but she still urged me to give it a rest. Homeroom's not that far off, is it? Just let me finish practicing. I swung the bat even harder as a sign of my refusal.
Kei-chan, when did you get into baseball?
Just recently.
Recently? You mean yesterday?
Don't ask if you already know.
Oh dear. That's a very unsportsmanlike reply.
You're distracting me. Go away. I ignored Mion and kept swinging. Normally she'd get mad or bored and leave if someone gave her the cold shoulder like this. But Mion just stood there, waiting patiently for me to stop swinging. I didn't sense any hostility. But we were at school in plain view. I doubt she'd suddenly attack me here. Or was that too naive? Still, I was starting to get tired. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad to take a break and hear her out. You need me for something, right? What is it? Sweat poured from me as I stopped swinging. I noticed my shoulders were heavy as I breathed, were heaving as I breathed. I cursed my lack of exercise. At this rate, I might not be able to move as needed when the time came. I should probably keep practicing my swings to build stamina in addition to the excuse for carrying the bat around with me.
Well, it's nothing important. If you're tired, I can ask again later.
Now is fine. I'm only dealing with you right now because I judge the situation to be safe. Talking to you alone and away from others? That's out of the question.
Well...
Mion was uncharacteristically trying to choose her words. But unlike Oishi-san, it didn't look like she was going to talk about something I'd rather not hear. Mion was puzzled, trying to find the right thing to say. And then she gave a hearty laugh to break herself out of that mire.
This old man's just no good at this stuff. Having a poor vocabulary hurts.
What's this all of a sudden? If you have something to say, just say it.
Stop it. Stop that swinging.
She cut straight to the point. Her request was so frank I didn't understand it for a moment. I had already stopped swinging to listen to her, hadn't I? I just stopped, didn't I?
That's not what I meant. I want today to be your last day, the last day you swing that bat. I'm sorry.
It took me some time to understand what she was asking for. What's wrong with swinging a bat? Why? It's none of your business, is it? I'm not bothering anyone, am I?
You are.
Mion said it flat out. This didn't make any sense, and that was really irritating. When did I bother anybody?
Mion
was at a loss for words, but she finally made up her mind and spoke, though she stuttered as she said it.
Because, Kei-chan, that's someone else's bat. You shouldn't borrow it without permission.
It was left behind by a student who transferred, right? I'm just borrowing it until he comes back for it.
Yeah, he transferred.
Mion grew uncharacteristically flustered. That made it all too clear that his transfer was a lie. It's strange, isn't it? For the older brother to transfer by himself, while his little sister stayed behind. Mion couldn't hide a reaction as my words shook her up.
Kei-chan, you knew?
Satoshi Hojo? Satoko's older brother, right? The one demoned away last year? Unable to respond to that, Mion fell silent. Rin asked the same thing. Why did you start swinging that bat? She told me Satoshi did the same thing, practicing his swings right before he went missing. So, is this some kind of omen for Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Shh!
Mion panicked and looked around.
Please, Kei-chan, don't mention Oyashiro-sama so recklessly. I don't believe in him, but the others very much do. Rena especially.
Dangerously so.
Anyway.
That's a new face.
That's a new face.
I wonder what looks. It's less fun. It's less fun. This is the best.
Anyway.
I know we rag on his art style, but his expressions are very good.
It compared to the standard shit, yeah.
It's like, whatever.
Meh. Anyway. You're scaring everyone. If you're just fooling around, then stop it. You have to stop acting like Satoshi.
I was the one who was scared. Who did I have to thank for taking up this bat in the first place? But it still unsettled me knowing that my actions were overlapping with Satoshi's. It would be one thing if someone suggested it, but I thought I was making my own decisions. I'll say this now. I don't know anything about Satoshi. After all, you didn't tell me anything about him.
We didn't mean to hide it.
You were hiding the incidents that happened every year, weren't you?
That's because we didn't want to,
You didn't want to scare me? That's your reason for leaving me out?
No, we didn't mean to.
Mion, I asked you directly if something happened at the dam, didn't I? And you told me nothing happened. When someone was dismembered and murdered. You lied to me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you.
Friends don't hide things from each other, right? Isn't that right? Then you all aren't my friends.
Kei-chan, we...
Mion looked helpless and flustered. I was imagining the tears. Was I imagining the tears in her eyes? I never could imagine Mion acting like this. Oh, by the way, those get well mochi you brought me the other day, they were good. I thought I was going to bleed. Who did it? You? Or Rena?
Me.
She admitted it so easily. I couldn't help but be surprised at how easy that was. You could have killed me. How could you do that to a friend?
But it was just a little prank.
Mion gave me a wry smile mixed with confusion, causing even more anger to well up inside me. You think that was a prank? I grabbed Mion by the collar and lifted her up. That wasn't the same as putting Tabasco sauce in a piece of mochi. It was a needle, a sewing needle. If I had swallowed that and it lodged in my throat, what did she think would happen? Mion's face froze as her body rattled in fear. This wasn't the Mion Sonozaki I knew anymore. Anyways, you're not my friend. There's no reason for me to listen to someone who's not my friend. So just leave me alone for a while. Got it? Mion wasn't replying anymore. It won't be that easy to erase me, you know. The cops have been onto you from the start, so don't think you can make me disappear like you did Satoshi. I said it clearly. This was my declaration of war. I think you guys are suspects in the previous incidents, too. I also know you've spent a lot of time with the cops ever since the anti-dam movement. Don't think you can hide it from me. Got that?
How did you know?
Mion stood there with a dumbstruck look on her face. That was when I heard the principal ringing the bell for school. It was time for morning homeroom. Let's go. The class representative needs to be there, right? At that moment, for the first time, I realized Mion was sobbing as tears ran down her cheeks.
You're so mean, Kei-chan.
I wanted to console her, but I shut my mouth. I had no need to feel guilty. I'm going. Don't be late for homeroom. I left Mion still shaking as I turned around to head for the entrance.
Damn, Keiichi.
Burning all sorts of bridges today. I had no idea.
Damn, buddy.
I had no idea how troubling it was to make a girl cry. Behind my back, I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter as she was speaking to herself.
So, that's how it is.
Eh? She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself, but it was a sobbing voice that had kind of a giddy cursing tone. I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her.
Oh! So it was that bastard. He leaked it all to Kei-chan.
She balled up her fists as tears continued to rain down. She glared at a spot on the ground with a terrifying yet smiling face. Cursing.
Oh, so okay, so that's not different.
Yeah. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Rena's.
I should have killed him back then. He forgot the mercy I showed him just because he was going to retire this year.
Retiring this year? Was she talking about Oishi-san?
Damn it. Damn it. I'm going to kill that damn old man. Ugh.
It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the center, the world had begun to twist and spiral, bending, whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage.
Rise?
I think that's what the conclusion we can draw from it. Yeah. Yes, Andrew. Yes.
Yeah, basically. Attention!
Mion made an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. After that, neither Rena or Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko or Rika-chan looked me in the eye. Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The months since I transferred in have been almost too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing.
Damn.
Yep.
I don't need friends, fuckers!
The bell rung, sounding the end of the monotonous school day, which had felt so tense yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join into the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But deep down inside me, far beneath in the recesses of my heart, achingly, I knew. This would be the last day of this cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be. Whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of the Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitake-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When do I realize it? I wonder if I will be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Bwee, bwee, bwee. There was still much of the summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. But I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. At that moment, the shrills of the Higurashi ceased all at once, as if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who'd brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. The sound of footsteps was almost non-existent. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. My exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all of my senses. I was just barely able to hold back that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass me by? No, since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I had hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Reina, just like yesterday? If it was Reina, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go ahead like yesterday. If it wasn't Reina? It would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands on my pants, and readjusted the grip on the bat. I could tell that the fear that I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Reina. There was a bit of relief as I realized it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Reina that I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent. Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand...
Oh, Jesus.
...was a hatchet.
Oh, boy.
I was wondering when this scene happened. I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing, there were tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat. But for that hatchet, there was no excuse for that. A hatchet, just like that?
Keiichi, are you playing hide and seek, I wonder? I wonder.
My heart was pounding, hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good, not good, not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here.
Were you trying to scare me, I wonder? I wonder.
I had decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Rena to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree.
I found you, Keiichi.
Rena was pleased as she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes, they were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. Not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous, hot and cold substance began spreading around. If I allowed it, the substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all the organs in my body. Not good, not good. I'll be devoured by Rena at this rate. Strike back. Don't lose. What is it? I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Rena didn't flinch one bit.
Just the same as Keiichi. I'm heading home.
Then what about the hatchet?
Then what about that bat you're holding?
I'm practicing my swing.
Then I'm treasure hunting.
Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon. Treasure hunting?
At the treasure mountain near the dam site, I found a new cute thing. So I needed this to dig it out.
How could I believe that?
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Rena's laugh was obviously very strange. I had seen Rena's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like her mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout.
Oh, Discord's eating my laugh? God damn!
I was wondering about that.
I hear you're good acting, but the chat is not. Damn it!
Man.
Damn it! How dare
do
you make me peak Discord?
How do you want to give us a taste of the laugh now?
Let me check one thing.
Sure.
Let me check my settings. It's probably in my goddamn settings that it's just cutting me off automatically to input sensitivity. Maybe if I back up away from the mic, you'll be able to fucking hear it.
Sure, let's give it a try.
We'll give that a try the next time she giggles, if I can remember that.
Okay. I'm not sure what to say.
Because I just need to get into that moment.
No, I get you. I wasn't sure what to say. It was just so obvious.
Wait, Keiichi.
It's not coming through again.
Damn it! Sons of bitches, Discord.
Motherfucker.
Rude.
I know.
Discord's rude. Y'all. Fucking, why can't it... Discord, why won't you let me laugh like a psycho bitch? God.
Give it one more try for college luck.
I'm gonna back away for this. I will sound like I'm from a distance this way.
Alright.
Wait, Keiichi.
A little bit of it came through. I'm sorry to say, not all of it. Man.
Discord, why? Why, Discord?
Why would you betray us, Discord?
Why you betray? The struggle is real. I cannot perform under these goddamn conditions.
Here, let me make sure there's not something stupid on my end. Give me like 1 second.
Control how loud sounds are for you personally. No, I'm just checking settings on my end too.
Yeah.
Automatically input sensitivity. Let me turn that down a touch. What else? That's advanced. Video processing, echo cancellation. Noise suppression. Advanced audio activity, automatically gain. Enable quality of service, high packet priority. I don't know. I'm stumped.
Try it. I changed a few things on my end. Try it again.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
I'm gonna back away again.
All right.
How's that?
It sounded very small and far away.
Okay, so that means we fixed something. Oh wait, Andrew said no?
No, I might have heard it. I don't know if it necessarily got through to like OBS.
God damn it.
Ah, man. The bit I can hear sounds very nice. I'm very sorry we can't share it with the world.
Sons of bitches.
All right.
You're not gonna win. Fuck you, Discord.
Let's try. Let's continue.
Fuck you, Discord.
Raina didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Raina got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. The cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Raina and was trying to escape. Don't follow me!
I can't do that. My house is this way, after all.
When I met with Raina on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands. But today was different. Raina didn't show a hint of trepidation.
See, Andrew, the problem is Rena cannot. Rena is not a creepy gremlin laugh. It's the high-pitched, screechy laugh. I can't fucking do that.
Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? If the way home for Rena and me was the same, that's fine. I just changed my route. That'd work out, wouldn't it? I turned onto a side street I'd never been down and knew little about. But Rena saw me do that and followed me while laughing.
Oh, Jesus.
Why? Why? Aren't you going home? Then just go down the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road?
I'm going treasure hunting, fucker.
Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth. Why are you following me? The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror.
Because I want to talk to Keiichi. Keiichi wants to talk to Rena too, doesn't he? Doesn't he?
I don't want to talk about anything with you.
Baka. That's a lie, isn't it? There's something you want to ask me about, isn't there?
Not at all. I have nothing to talk to you about.
That's a lie, isn't it?
It's not a lie.
Lies!
Rena's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight.
Trying to catch that timing when she does that is a pain in the ass. Also, those eyes right now.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
I cringed.
The guy had fun filling in all the black around her goddamn eyes. Shit.
Absolutely. I cringed in fear. The only other thing I could do was increase my pace. Oh, shit.
Ah, dang it. It's alright.
Sorry. Next time.
Oops. Probably not as fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk, Keiichi. Talk.
Why was
My neighbors are gonna think I'm fucking weird.
It's alright.
Shit.
Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street?
Doesn't Keiichi have something he's worried about? Oh, I didn't even hear that because I got an ad break. What? Damn it!
Ad break? Why is there a fucking ad break?
Are happening right now. Thanks, Twitch.
God. Now I'm just irritated. How are we supposed to provide a continuous, enjoyable experience if there's a random fucking ad break? Ugh.
Twitch, why? Why you do this to us? I don't even know how long of a goddamn ad break they're putting on right now.
Christ. We certainly didn't start it.
Nope. It'll do it automatically. Does that shit automatically, so
stupid.
It's obnoxious. It does, like, when I do pre-show stuff, I'll typically run some ads. Just so because it'll shut it off for like an hour or so.
Yeah.
Andrew just came in here to pat me on the shoulder, kind of like doing a there.
You're doing good work. Those are really good creepy screams, and I'm sure our neighbors are at least a little bit distressed.
Can you scratch my back? I have an itch.
Why would you say that on stream in front of everybody?
I don't care. No, it's an ad break. Lower. Ooh, there it is. That way, look. Yay! This feels nice right now. That way. While you're here, it's like while we're running ads, I guess. Thanks, Twitch. Oh, hold on. I can change a little some. Run a 3-minute ad. No, I don't want to run a 3-minute ad. How do I change that it doesn't run a 3-minute ad? It doesn't do it. God damn it. To go to actual settings.
Let's just keep.
It's almost done. Let's just let it happen.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we might be back.
All right.
Oopsie doodle.
Sorry for all you people watching this on YouTube in like a month where there's no ad break and it's just us dicking around for 2 minutes.
What is happening? Why is there a break? And why is Steph having this weird moment of like getting her back scratched?
All right.
Oops.
Did you read this line?
No, I did not.
All
We're
right.
back. Time to fucking terrify Keiichi again.
Let's do it.
Doesn't Keiichi have something he's worried about?
Nothing at all. I'm not worried about anything.
Lies!
Oh, it came through a little bit. At least for me. I don't know about on stream. Even though I was running. Even though Rena was walking. Why wasn't I getting any farther away?
I know. I really do know. You're scared, aren't you, Keiichi?
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything.
Lies! I'm like trying to face away from the goddamn mic because I think it's just making my mic peak and it's obnoxious as shit.
There's like an auto gain control feature in the settings. Maybe that needs to be turned off. I don't know.
Maybe? I know this mic has like a gain thing. I just don't know which way to...
No, like in Discord, they have like a bunch of auto settings, and I think one of them might be fucking with you.
I was trying to see something, yeah, but I didn't see that.
Alright.
And I mean, I don't have the auto sensitivity on either right now.
Alright.
It's 100% Discord right now.
Oh, it definitely is. My breathing grew heavy, and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat.
I'll listen. This time I'll listen.
I had no idea what she was talking about or what exactly she wanted to do.
This time I'll listen. Oh, also, thanks for the resub with Prime, Crimson.
Yeah, buddy.
He's been subscribed for 16 months.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
You're good people.
Thanks, bro. Alright. This time I'll listen. It will be different from the time with Satoshi.
When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop.
Satoshi was worried too. It looked like he was having such a hard time. But I didn't listen. I was so sad.
Where did this street connect to? All these twists and turns, ups and downs.
Your ass is getting lost.
Yeah, it was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction of my house. I sensed the direction had long since gone out the window.
I really regretted it when Satoshi transferred out. I thought if I had listened, he may not have transferred out. I really regretted that.
Oh, this is new.
Oh. Forest!
The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm.
So you see, I vowed that if there was someone struggling like Satoshi did, I'd save them. I don't want to see anyone transfer out again. I'm not even going to bother with the laugh right now if it's not coming through.
Well, the game left
Thanks,
for...
Brenna.
Thanks, game. Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi.
Come on, Keiichi. Talk to me. I'll be able to understand you, Keiichi. I'm your ally.
I started wheezing out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode, and my heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swing.
You think, buddy?
Yeah, I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought.
If Keiichi doesn't have anything to worry about, he'll go back to normal. Everyone will be back to being friends, and we can enjoy club activities again. Next time we'll team up and beat Michan.
It fell off screen.
Thanks, game.
Yeah, how much fun that would be. Rena couldn't even imagine how much I had wished I could turn back the clock on these past few days.
You could be nice to me again, too. I want to go searching for treasure again. This time, I'll prepare a nice lunch. Actually, we could just go right now. Let's go up to the dam site together. I'll show you the cute thing I just found. I'm sure you'll like it too. I'm not even bothering with the laugh at this point because Discord's a dick.
Yeah, my footsteps
It makes me sad.
Oh. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think of what that end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything, not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me and I crumpled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as my makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing right in front of me. Compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was so cool and composed that she could have froze the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Rather, I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating.
Are you afraid of something, I wonder? It's not like you to tremble, Keiichi.
Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. As she admonished me for trembling, Rena's hands deftly slipped over her head. The blur of arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of the thousand-armed Buddha. Then, as both of her arms met above her head, the hatchet she held came into focus. I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do. Tell me, what happened to Satoshi? Rena stayed like that, with that hatchet raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was to never see again. That cruel scenario resided somewhere in her actions.
I told you. Satoshi transferred out.
Enough of that transfer crap. It means demoned away, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Huh?
You can tell me now, can't you? Who made Satoshi disappear? Was it you? Mion? Or someone in the village? Answer me! I became frantic the more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face.
I have no idea what Keiichi is talking about.
Then I'll say it in a way you do. Who is the perpetrator of this chain of mysterious deaths?
You seem to be confused, Keiichi.
What?
There is no human perpetrator. Everything is by Oyashiro's will.
Is Oyashiro-sama's curse just superstition? You believe in that too?
It's not about believing or not. Oyashiro exists. Period.
Rena's gaze grew even more gelid. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything. There's just no way that something like Oyashiro-sama could exist.
You don't believe in Oyashiro?
There's no way I could believe it. There's no way it could exist.
What does the blood filter look like in others?
Ah!
Oh god! Oh god!
Yeah, there we go.
Shit, that's more unsettling. Fuck.
It exists. Oyashiro exists. Keiichi should have felt it personally.
I never felt something like that.
Keiichi, haven't you felt someone apologizing to you before? Constantly, on top of that?
All noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded loudly and terribly.
You see, until you forgive them, they'll always be with you. At school, at home, at your bedside.
I couldn't understand what Rena was saying.
It came to me too. Oyashiro did. That's why I transferred and came back to Hinamizawa.
I didn't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? What was Rena saying?
Hasn't Oyashiro come to you as well, Keiichi? I'm probably the only one who you can confide in. I won't let you transfer out, okay?
Rena's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Rena saying Oyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I heard about that when I first asked about Rena. Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested? Oishi-san began speaking. Neither the victims nor the school filed a complaint, so there's no preliminary report. Basically, the police hadn't intervened in this matter. So all these details are just what I heard from those involved. Meaning it's not that credible. You said there were victims? Didn't Rena just break all the windows? No, Rena Ryuga had attacked 3 boys, using a metal bat. 2 of them made it out with only bruises, but the other had been injured so badly that one of his eyes was permanently damaged. Wouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't the police have arrested her? For whatever reason, the victims never pressed charges. There was no report to the police, so they were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally there would be a criminal investigation, but why didn't they press charges? I tried asking the 3 male victims for their side of the story, but they all were reluctant. It was hard to say, but they were all afraid, even after she transferred schools. Oishi-san, could you summarize it starting from the beginning? Rena hit people while she broke the windows? Or was it she started breaking the windows after she got bored of hitting people? They sounded similar, but the meanings were drastically different. On an undisclosed date, Rena Ryuga was conversing with 3 male students, close friends of hers, near the pool storage shed. Who were those 3? I can't reveal their names, but they were close to Rena Ryuga, and it seemed they were a group of friends. She was the lone girl in their group. So it wasn't that strange that the 4 of them were together. So what happened? I don't know the reason why. She took the baseball team's bat that was in the pool storage shed and beat the 3 of them down one after the other. What? There were no witnesses. There was an account pieced together by the information given at the time of the incident. One day after school, Rena and 3 male students were at the pool storage shed talking together. They weren't seeking help, rather, they usually met up there. It appears that it became a heated discussion, and at the time, Rena underwent a change. The change was so abrupt that the 3 of them didn't comprehend what was happening. Then, taking the metal bat, she attacked her friends one after the other. Ooh.
Yummy.
Leaving her friends covered in blood with gashes on their heads, she made her way towards the school building. Then she broke the glass windows one after another. A few minutes later, a teacher appeared on the scene and subdued her. What was this change Ren underwent? What matches up in the statements from the 3 was a sudden change. The point was that there was a transformation. Transformation? I also could recall Rena's transformation. I'd seen that change many times before. It was so different from the usual Rena that I couldn't help but believe it was someone else who looked like Rena. That transformation they're talking about, had it happened before? No, there's nothing like that. As far as I could find out in her medical history and past, there was nothing like that. Does that happen often? Where people change suddenly like Rena did? Of course it does. There are plenty of psychological phenomena that could have caused something like that. Then, you're saying there was a dormant element in Rena that caused that transformation? I cannot say that for certain. But according to the statements of her friends, it's hard to believe that she had such a side to her. Kind, caring, and adorable. Even before she transferred here, she was probably pretty popular in school like she was now. That girl transforming suddenly and assaulting them with a bat? Who could imagine such a thing? Nobody could have seen it coming. I myself believe that I was mistaken for thinking that Rena was even now.
The phenomena is called bitches be crazy.
Then, what happened after that? There was a hospital right across from the school, so the 3 of them were carried in and treated quickly. What about Rena? What about the police? Why wasn't there a criminal investigation? You see, the police can't get involved unless they're called. Even though one was badly injured with permanent damage? Why didn't they file charges? That's what caught my attention as well. Either some threat or pressure was placed on them, or they had a reason they couldn't file charges even if they wanted to. We're talking about you, after all. Of course you looked into it, didn't you? Well, yeah. But I told you at the beginning, didn't I? That the victims were all very reluctant to talk. They didn't want to touch on the matter, or rather, they didn't want to be involved. Reluctant to talk. Didn't want to touch it. It didn't want to be involved. It resembled the villagers here in Oyashiro-sama's curse. Did the teachers of the school tell you anything? A school is hollow ground. You could say they tend to keep scandals under wraps. I didn't have a search warrant, so I had to tread lightly, you see. Then there was no comment from the school? No. They denied the incident even happened. It's just 3 male students were carried in for blunt force trauma that day. That's all there was in the hospital records. The victims didn't speak, the school denied it happened. Then you don't know anything at all. Yeah, I know nothing other than the incident itself had taken place. The victims also wished this incident to be kept from the public, so if you and I both forgot about it, Maibara-san, then this incident would probably just fade away. For a brief period, we sat in silence. At first glance, this looked like a simple assault case, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. The depths were obscured by roiling waves, sinking quietly into the void, as if it never existed to begin with. After that, she was suspended from the school, and during that time, she underwent psychiatric counseling. Did you hear anything from that doctor? Again, they were very professional in regards to their ethics, or at least very tight-lipped. Nothing even after you showed them your badge? I was told to get a warrant. The badge itself has no legally binding authority, after all. Then how did you know that Rena confessed that it was Oyashiro-sama who did it? There was a nurse I asked in that department. She agreed to help me just from showing her my badge. Then, what did she say? Turns out that the nurse hadn't heard everything. Apparently all she remembered was that she overheard from inside the room. Bless you. The nurse said that at the time, Rena Ryuga was very calm and mild-mannered. It was more like she was confessing her sins at church than a counseling session. She spoke with her mother there for some of it, but partway through her mother was asked to leave, so it became a private counseling session between just the doctor and Rena for a while. The part with Oyashiro-sama, when did that pop up? Partway through. She screamed the name suddenly. That startled the nurse, and that's why she started listening in.
It was Ayashiro!
Rena suddenly shouted that. I had no idea what was said before that, so I had no idea what the meaning behind it could have been. The doctor calmly and collectedly asked Rena to have a seat. What is this Oyashiro-sama you speak of? Gently, ever so gently. A fundamental part of counseling is to be a good, patient listener.
Whoever abandons Hinamizawa will be hunted down by Oyashiro. And it's finally gotten to me.
That's the town you lived in before you moved here. Isn't that right, Ryuga-san?
I didn't want to move, but because of my mom and dad's circumstances, we had to. But Oyashiro wouldn't allow it.
Ryuga-san must have had lots of friends in Hinamizawa. Even now, you must be missing them dearly, don't you think?
I want to go back. Back to Hinamizawa. No, it's not that I want to go back. I have to go back. I should have gone back much sooner. But now it's too late. Oyashiro has come.
Oyashiro-sama is the name of the god in Hinamizawa, isn't that right?
Everyone knows. It's Hinamizawa's guardian deity. And if you ever try abandoning Hinamizawa by leaving, you'll incur its wrath.
You had moved quite a while ago, didn't you? Then it was just now that this god has arrived, is what you're saying?
You might not believe me, but Oyashiro exists.
That nurse was then asked by another nurse to do something and left the room. That was all she remembered. That was Oyashiro-sama's doing, right? I do believe that there is some kind of superstition in Hinamizawa. That if you leave the village, then you incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath. You should be familiar with this part, Maibara-san. I knew very well that those scorned by what those scorned by the village incurred. To hinder the dam construction project, they cursed the construction foreman to his death. Then the following year, Satoko's parents, supporters, and leading advocates for the dam were cursed to their death. This was the first time I've heard the curse incurred by leaving the village. This is my first time hearing that. I can understand outside threats being cursed by the village, but why also villagers who leave? Normally people who leave the village aren't supposed to be cursed, right? I know it's a bit strange to say, but I could see it as a rule that the people who come in are the ones who would be cursed. Far from Jupiter, far from his thunder. Curses weren't something to chase after people that leave, were they? Oishi-san pondered for a bit over the other end of the receiver, then began speaking again. Well, I told you long ago when Hinamizawa was called Onigafuchi, didn't I? I recalled hearing that. Long ago, Hinamizawa was feared and respected as the village of demons. The villagers at the foot of the mountain worshipped the demons, so Onigafuchi was hollow ground that they could never enter. It came to be said that if you entered carelessly, you were cursed by Oyashiro-sama. Those who set foot in Onigafuchi, in other words Hinamizawa, would be cursed. I could understand that. I know that, but for leaving to also be no good, that's... Also, the demons, you see. They were being strictly watched by Oyashiro-sama, so they would not enter into our world. In other words, Oyashiro-sama probably restricted interaction between Onigafuchi and the rest of the world. I see. I finally understood what sort of thing Oyashiro-sama was. So basically, Oyashiro-sama is more like a warden than a protector or a deity, I guess? Trying to keep this place isolated from the rest of the world? I guess that's how it would seem. I'm sorry, I don't know very much myself. This is mostly what was passed on to me from my mother. I could understand it a bit better if it was like that. Those who came from Hinamizawa would be cursed, and those who tried to leave would also be cursed. So, because Rena originally lived in Hinamizawa and moved away, she fulfilled the requirements for being cursed. So that means, because Rena moved away against its wishes, she was cursed by Oyashiro-sama? Is that what it adds up to? In short, that seems to be what it points to, I guess. As a matter of fact, soon afterwards, they did move back to Hinamizawa, after all. Those who abandoned Hinamizawa and left were cursed. But then, why only Rena? Shouldn't Rena's parents also have been guilty of the same transgression by moving away and have been cursed? Also, in this day and age in Japan, shouldn't there be a lot of people coming and going? If every single one of them was cursed, then it'd be insane. But in reality, it wasn't that big a deal at all. At most, there would be one person dying and one disappearing on the day of the Watanagashi. I don't like saying at most, though. Well, anyways, there's a lot I still don't know. Even if it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, it doesn't explain Rena beating her classmates in the middle bat, or why the victims wouldn't press charges. You don't think the victims were cowering because they believed that a terrible curse had befallen them, do you? Of course I didn't want to believe it. But, more importantly, I had just realized something else. There was another bizarre connection to that Rena made between Oyashiro-sama's curse and metal bats. Satoshi fell victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse and went missing. I had recently learned that Satoshi had also become infatuated with the metal bat right before he disappeared, just like me. Then Rena as well. She was affected by Oyashiro-sama's curse. She confessed that much to the doctor. And then the weapon which she had used at the time of that horrendous act was, again, a metal bat. And finally, me. I had encountered various things that were inexplicable, and now I was holding on to a metal bat. I was shocked when I learned that Satoshi did the same thing. It couldn't be. Had the same thing happened to Rena? But there was one critical difference between her and Satoshi's case. That being, Satoshi went missing after falling victim to the curse, but Rena was still here. Both of them had fallen victim to Oyashiro-sama's curse, yet they were met with different endings. And finally, me. I couldn't call it a coincidence anymore. Rena, Satoshi, and finally, me. Could it be that I really was under Oyashiro-sama's curse right now? No, more importantly than that, what should I do now? Satoshi had been demoned away, vanishing without a trace. Rena was fine. Fine? Rena had undergone a change. I could only believe that there was something that wasn't Rena residing within her. And here, right now, it was standing before me. Remember this? Remember this, folks?
Hi, fuckers. It me.
Rena, please tell me. What will happen to me? Rena stood there imposingly, not answering. Satoshi disappeared, but Rena didn't disappear. So what will happen to me?
I'm not even trying.
I had never
Fuck
heard
you, Discord.
I had never heard such an unpleasant laugh before. It had become akin to the sound of her breathing. It was no longer a voice or an expression of feeling.
Don't worry. I'll save you.
Oh, Jesus.
Rena took one step forward, still holding the hatchet high above her head.
Now then.
One step closer, Rena's face spread out to fill my vision.
Speak.
One step closer. Rena's nose was close enough to touch mine and was still pushing closer.
There's something you want to say, isn't there? I'll listen. I'll save you, okay? Speak, okay? Speak, okay?
I slumped down, landing squarely on my butt. It wasn't for some pathetic reason. It was all I could do to get as far away from Rena.
Girl, calm down.
I had the gut feeling that she couldn't let her laughter end. Because when that laughing ended, the moment I picked up on that feeling, my body moved my instinct. I sprang to my feet so fast I couldn't even believe it, and pushed Rena away with both hands. Rena was as light as a feather. Thrown about by the unbalanced weight of the hatchet, she was sent backwards as she had been carried off by the wind. After conferring that out of the corner of my eye, I dashed off at full speed. I was the perfect picture of fleeing like a greased pig. Get away from Rena. Run away. Survive. I couldn't think of anything other than this. While I was running, I remembered I'd been holding on to a bat the entire time. Such a worthless weapon. I couldn't believe I'd forgotten about this weapon at such an important time. I sped even farther down the winding path. I didn't even feel myself gasping for breath or my legs getting heavy. My body understood it as well. If I didn't run away from here, I wouldn't live. I could hear the laughter of that simulacra of Rena coming from behind me. It rang throughout the trees and in my head and slowly chiseled away at my sanity. The grove of trees thinned out, my field of vision suddenly expanding. Where was this? For a moment I was bewildered by the scenery I felt I knew, but couldn't quite remember. I quickly realized it was the damn site. The fact that I dashed madly and ended up in a place like this gave me a bad feeling, like I was following someone's scripted plot. I had a good view of my surroundings, but I didn't see a single soul here. This was a terrible spot for someone on the run, but there was no better place for an attacker. My heart was already on the verge of bursting. The muscles of my legs were screaming, but I didn't care. If I stopped here, then they might not even be able to scream for much longer. Even still, I glanced back, looking for an excuse to rest. Rena wasn't there. Instead, I saw two villagers walking around. I breathed a sigh of relief that it wasn't Rena, but a third party. Except the voice inside me rang the alarm once more. Villagers walking around weren't suspicious in of themselves, but it bothered me. They both wore rough-looking clothes. Empty-handed, they definitely gave the impression they were just out for a walk. But at this time of day, two adults wandering around without a purpose, it was enough to raise questions. But more than anything else, those eyes. They weren't chatting while walking. They were both silent, heading forward, looking in my direction. Well, I was at the end of my rope and had finally Was I at the end of my rope and had finally started imagining things? I should run away. That was probably the best choice. If they weren't involved, I'd lose them easily by running. If they were part of the group, the other group after me, then they would come running after me. Either way, unless I hurried, Rena would catch up with me. That's right, I was going to run. Deciding that, the moment I began to turn tail, both of them rushed towards me as if they knew exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, Jesus.
Somewhere inside me, I jumped to the conclusion that Rena was the only thing I needed to be afraid of. I made the assumption that I didn't need fear anything else. But right now, I realized just how blatantly wrong I was. Suddenly, the story Oishi-san told me about the demons all leaving the village to hunt prey floated through the back of my mind.
I don't remember any of this.
Oh, it was a couple of sessions ago, I think. I think it's when you're like eating lunch at that place. Anyways, I could tell they were both coming after me without even turning around because of their frantic footsteps. It was frightening, being unable to shake Rena off as she slowly closed in on me, but this didn't even compare. Being pursued with such violent ferocity, this straightforward horror was unparalleled. One of the pursuers' arms grazed my shoulder. Now it wasn't just their frenzied footsteps, but also the distinct sound of their breathing I could hear. No, I could practically feel them breathing on me. They were already right behind me. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. Still running at full tilt, I felt the surrounding area go still. No, it felt like time itself had stopped. I turned my head back slightly in the frozen world, realizing how close my pursuers had gotten to me. I couldn't win against the legs of an adult. In less than the time it would have taken to blink twice when this frozen time began moving again, they'd be right on top of me. On top of me. And then? Don't think about that, Keiichi. First, realize that you wouldn't be able to shake them off like this. If the fact that you can't get away was a given, then you needed to make a decision. Go with the right leg or go with the left. You just need to decide which one. Let's go with the left. The moment I decided that, the temporal singularity burst into pieces. Right. Left. I swung the bat in a wide arc with my right arm. Using that inertia, I stopped and suddenly spun. What? The two of them were clearly startled. Momentarily losing sight of me, both of their outstretched arms, ready to grab me, instead grasped an empty space. The man on the right, I applauded him being able to figure it out, spun around to the spot I shouldn't have been and faced me in astonishment. But it was too late. I didn't even need to swing my bat. All I needed to do was extend my arm as I turned around. It was by no means a heavy blow, but it seemed like it had enough power behind it to knock him off his feet. But just knocking him down wasn't enough to scare him away. He got back up in no time. Both of them took a fighting stance and were ready to face me. This made me certain that there weren't just two people out for a walk. They were clearly after me. It felt much easier than dealing with Rena. Just by not recognizing their faces, by not knowing them, it made things easier. I smiled wryly on the inside. What do you want with me? Next one is going to be right in your face, you bastard. It was fine. It's fine if it was just a bluff. By barking out at them, I was able to fire myself up. They didn't respond. They spread out to either side of me with unbelievably calm expressions on their faces. One of them would grab onto my bat and the other would hold me down. Was that their plan? Taking on both of them at once would be impossible. Hot sweat poured from every pore in my body. Then I just had to settle it with the first move. I'd step in and strike the first one down. Narrowing my target down to the man on the right, who'd already been knocked down before I stepped in and swung with all my might. There was no way for an unarmed person to guard against it. It would cause immense damage. If they blocked it with their arm, their bone would snap like a twig. If they turned their back to it, then it would be possible the blow would travel all the way to their vital organs. It looked like he was aware of this. He pushed farther through the kill zone between us and delivered a fist right into my gut. Not good. With this distance and this position in this state, there was no way for me to dodge it.
That's a fucking punch. Jesus Christ, it sounded like an explosion.
The world flipped upside down. I understood that I was being tossed around like a rag doll. I landed on the soft earth without a sound, feeling the grainy soil pressed against my face. It didn't hurt at all. But the moment I thought that, I suddenly felt pain coming from the abrasions on my skin, as well as the contents of my stomach being forced upwards, flooding my mouth with a bitter sensation. I knew very well that I didn't have time to relish this experience. I stood up as quickly as I could, but at that moment the other man was already barreling towards me. Being able to comprehend calmly that I simply couldn't dodge it made it all the more upsetting. After plowing into my stomach full force once again, my assailant twisted around behind me and locked his thick arms around my neck. My throat felt like I was being crushed by his immense strength. I couldn't even contemplate that I was being strangled, that I was about to go unconscious. My vision simply darkened, and a silent whining noise began playing deep inside my mind. It took everything I had to keep myself from blacking out. While this was happening, the other man was more than likely standing in front of me. I wasn't able to open my eyes, but I could feel he was there. There was nothing I could do now. Unable to shake this arm off me, I couldn't run. I couldn't fight back. Dire straits. I couldn't even come up with the phrase that adequately described my situation.
I don't remember this being a
thing.
thing.
That's not in the anime. That's definitely not in the anime.
No, 100%. That's new. Oh, okay.
All right. So I have unfortunate news. I promised to pick Natasha up from a night class, and she's going to be back soon, so...
Oh, no! That means we're not finishing tonight!
No, my gut tells me this is going to go on for a while, though I don't think we were going to finish tonight anyways.
I mean, considering we got to a place where, we didn't fucking know this one before.
I know. So I'm gonna let's press pause now, and we'll pick this back up in 2 weeks. How's that sound, kids?
Yay. Oh boy, Jesus Christ.
I know. Woo!
Holy shnikes.
All right.
Bro. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot.
Too
also,
much.
I hate Discord for censoring my fucking laugh. Motherfuckers. I hate it. Thanks, guys.
Not ideal.
Andrew.
Did that come through?
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Apparently my high-pitched Rena laugh won't work. My yandere laugh
I would go into your voice options and see what's
I'm
ticked
gonna
on.
have to see if there's something. I don't know what it is, but something happened. Anyways, so this has been fun.
Yes.
So I think the only other thing happening this week is Jackson will probably be back tomorrow night with more Hi-Fi Rush, I believe. We do not have a new episode coming out this week. However, if you would like to, we did just put up our episode last Friday for Chainsaw Man, if y'all want to go check that out. I heard it was a fun time. I still need to finish Chainsaw Man.
You really should.
Anyways, do you want to go raid someone?
Sure. Who do we want to raid?
I'm going to make an executive decision based on who's listed here.
All right.
Let's go say hi to Lack.
Let's do it.
He's playing Kingdom Hearts 2 right now, so we can go say hello to him.
Let's.
But, thank y'all for hanging out with us, guys.
Indeed.
We will see you, I guess. It's showing he's live. It says he's live. Let's see if it works. Let's find out if it actually works. But yeah. It's been fun. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
All right, we set?
It worked!
Yay.